Royal Caribbean's Utopia of the Seas has just set sail. And of course, Heidi and I were on board the first weekend cruise to test out this latest ship. So find out if this ship is really the biggest weekend ever or just a really big letdown with our exclusive Utopia of the Seas cruise review up next. Welcome aboard, cruisers. I'm Don B from Eat Sleep Cruise, and welcome back to our Eat Sleep Cruise subscribers. Now, if you are a subscriber, then you know that we are no stranger to Royal Caribbean megaships. So in this review, we're going to give our honest take of how Utopia of the Seas stacks up to the competition in terms of dining, onboard activities, nightlife, entertainment, and more. So let's start with one area where we thought Utopia of the Seas fell short, and that's the casual dining. When compared to the competition, Royal Caribbean still has some work to do regarding its casual eateries. We were impressed with many of the Icon of the Seas casual dining upgrades, but sadly, Utopia of the Seas didn't receive many of that ship's new venues or menu items. Instead, it's home to the typical lineup found on other Freedom, Quantum, and Oasis-class ships. If you're taking a weekend cruise and looking to relax in your bathing suit and flip-flops during the short voyage, the casual dining will probably let you down. The only new casual dining venue is the poolside spare tire. This food truck was open from noon to 6 p.m. every day of our cruise. Here, the menu includes pre-made grab-and-go items like chicken sandwiches and beef or pepperoni and cheese tornadoes. While the concept sounds good on paper, the food is perhaps some of the worst on the ship. It's on par with microwave food from your local gas station, and we're not exaggerating here. Thankfully, there are other options besides this new spare tire food truck. Park Cafe still serves the same breakfast and lunch items for a quick meal. There's my personal favorite, the Boardwalk Doghouse, which offered 4 varieties of international hot dogs and sausages for a daytime snack, as well as El Loco Fresh, which has Tex-Mex selections, including nacho chips, burritos, and quesadillas until 6 p.m. each day of the cruise. And it wouldn't be a Royal Caribbean ship, of course, if there wasn't Sorrento's Pizzeria, which still dishes out somewhat subpar slices until 2 a.m. Utopia of the Seas also has a cafe promenade, which has 24-hour items, but we would have liked the Pearl Cafe menu from Icon of the Seas here, but instead, there were the usual bakery items and pre-made sandwiches. Of course, cruisers could also get breakfast, lunch, or dinner at the Windjammer Marketplace, the cruise ship's buffet. Given this was a 3-day-long cruise with a full day at Perfect Day at Coco Cay, we honestly never ate at the buffet. Overall, having just cruised on Margaritaville at Sea Islander and Carnival Jubilee earlier this year, we think Royal Caribbean needs to step up its casual fare to compete with other cruise lines offering shorter cruises. Now, on the flip side, we think Royal Caribbean is the leader in cruise ship entertainment. Utopia of the Seas is an Oasis-class ship with venues similar to her sister ships. These include the main theater, the Studio B ice rink, and the Aqua Theater in the Boardwalk. Currently, all 3 venues have one brand new production show and all require reservations. Even though Utopia of the Seas cruise ship did receive 3 new productions, some did not live up to our entertainment expectations for Royal Caribbean shows. On night 1, we settled into the Aqua Theater for Aqua 82. No one else comes close to offering the unique combination of high divers, dancers, and acrobatics. Living up to this reputation, Aqua 82, the sequel to Oasis of the Seas show, was by far the most entertaining production on Utopia. Even those cruisers who are typically adverse to cruise entertainment should consider checking out Aqua 82. We promise that you won't be disappointed. Although we cannot say the same for All In, the production in the Royal Theater that we watched on night 2. This rather typical cruise review show's description doesn't even attempt to provide context to this 45-minute production that felt all over the place. The show transported cruisers from venues like Studio 54 to masquerade parties in Venice, but there was no running theme. For good measure, there was a short drone scene though. Still, even these technological enhancements could not rescue this show. When compared to Icon's Wizard of Oz, this production was a major letdown. Lastly, on night 3, we headed to Studio B for Utopia. We are fans of Royal Caribbean's ice shows, but if you have seen one, then really you've seen them all. However, a talented cast of skaters, various scenes, and an eclectic song list kept our attention during the production. In the attic, 3 comedians offered several sets of adults-only comedy throughout the cruise. These shows also require reservations. Royal Caribbean superstar and show stealer Simeon Kirklees was among the comedians during our inaugural sailing, and he was hilarious as always. Utopia of the Sea's traditional 3-story main dining room offered your typical sit-down dinner experience. Given that our 3-day cruise had no sea days, the main dining room did not provide lunch. However, each day there was breakfast from about 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. For dinner, the cruise line's welcome aboard menu was featured on night 1. It included selections like shrimp cocktail, prime rib, and the new peanut caramel bar. Night 2 was a taste of the Caribbean menu. This menu features spicy offerings such as the Asian-style pork bao tacos, the jerk-seasoned pork chop, and the royal chocolate cake for dessert. On night 3 is the Bon Voyage dinner. This multi-course feast boasts one of Heidi's favorites, the turkey dinner, as well as one of my favorites, the warm apple cobbler. Given the short nature of this cruise, we did not dine in the main dining room. So while the menus did include classics we've sampled on other ships, we cannot comment on how the MDR on Utopia of the Seas delivered for dinner service. Instead of eating in the main dining room for this Utopia of the Seas cruise ship review, we dined at 3 specialty restaurants, and they were fantastic. On night 1, we revisited the Mason Jar. This Southern comfort food casual venue was one of our favorites on Wonder of the Seas. This version on Utopia of the Seas did not disappoint either. With live music from the bar as the backdrop, we enjoy dishes like gumbo, a shrimp po' boy, deviled eggs, and the chicken pot pie. My St. Louis-style ribs were tender and flavorful as well, falling right off the bone. This selection paired perfectly with the mac and cheese and Cajun fries. Plus, you can't go wrong with drinks here, especially the PB&J Old Fashioned and the Mississippi Moonlight. On night 2, we tested out the somewhat reimagined Giovanni's Italian Kitchen. Perched above the boardwalk on decks 11 and 12, this popular restaurant has a new home on Utopia of the Seas. Although during our 6:30 p.m. reservation, the evening sun was blaring down on us, making us rethink Royal's choice to move the restaurant. Thankfully, as the sun began to set, the heat from the windows became less of an issue. Our multi-course meal included starters like fried calamari and polenta and the caprese salad, along with the signature Giovanni's pizza, which was topped with the perfect mix of spicy ham and sweet honey. For my entree, I tried something new, and I was pleasantly surprised with the steak muffaletta. This traditional dish had a light breadcrumb crust and was filled with a variety of Italian cold cuts and cheese. It reminded me of a very similar dish my mother would make during the holidays. Heidi stuck with her go-to chicken parm, which was tasty as well. For dessert, we split the stromboli filled with Nutella and bananas. Of course, no dinner at Giovanni's would be complete without a glass of limoncello either. On the final night of our cruise, we were among the lucky few to step on board the new Royal Railway for a Wild West train trip. This interactive dinner show is part amusement ride, part dinner theater, and certainly a lot of fun. We don't want to give away too much of the plot, but this upcharge experience might be worth it for some families. The show and digital technology were certainly on par with similar experiences you might expect from brands like Disney. On the other hand, we paid $74.99 per person, and the food was only a modest upgrade from the main dining room. My empanada appetizer and short ribs entree were good, but not worth the price of admission, especially since I didn't get to finish any of the courses. Of course, you are paying for the immersive experience and not really the food. For us, the biggest drawback of the experience was the timing. Between live skits occurring in the train car aisle, food and beverage services, and the various vistas passing by on the digital screens, it was a bit overstimulating. We didn't feel there was adequate time to enjoy our meal while still taking in everything happening around us. There is certainly a lot to do on Utopia of the Seas. Along with new entertainment offerings, Utopia of the Seas rolled out some new parties and guest activities. For the most part, these events were repackaged offerings that are found on most cruise ships. On night 1, we did not stay up long enough for the Royal Caribbean party, taking place at 1 a.m., complete with beer pong. But we did make it to the Silent Toga party on the last night of the cruise. This reimagined silent disco included plenty of cruisers dressed in white sheets. Don't worry, the cruise line does provide them for you. Some even brought their own costumes to mark the occasion. We are fans of the silent disco in general, and this one, which was held in the solarium, was definitely well attended. Other dance parties felt like typical Royal Caribbean happenings, even if they had a new name. There was the one-hit wonder street party in the Royal Promenade, and the Red Party, and the Resolution dance party in Studio B. This was basically a reimagined white party. Of course, the Crazy Quest was also a widely popular nighttime activity on the second night of our cruise. The lineup of musicians across the rest of the bars and lounges was pretty standard. We enjoyed Stephen Burke's remixed acoustic sounds in the pub, and the Mason Jar was one of the more popular bars on the ship. The Country Crew Trio performed a variety of country, rock, folk, and even some pop songs each evening. In the Scooter Bar, pianist Louis Coupe took requests, while Latin Town offered Latin rhythms in boleros. The Royal Caribbean fan favorite Phoenix rocked out the music hall with a mix of classic rock and pop songs in a show that spanned decades. For those loyal to Royal, Utopia of the Seas offers the nightlife you're used to on most of the line's megaships, but it doesn't really present anything different or unique like the Dueling Pianos bar found on Icon of the Seas. Utopia of the Seas cruise ship is home to many of the familiar bars and lounges found fleet-wide. Over 3 days, we found it hard to complete our typical bar crawl, but that doesn't mean we didn't try. One thing we really loved about this ship was the addition of the well-themed Pesky Parrot. This brand new bar features a signature menu with frozen drinks and cocktails and was a welcome replacement for the gimmicky Bionic bar. In fact, we're surprised it took Royal Caribbean this long to get rid of the Bionic bar because I don't know anyone who actually liked that robot-themed bar. On the other hand, the Pesky Parrot resembles the Bamboo Room on Navigator of the Seas, but it's better. It's also home to Brian, the namesake bird who wants you to drink up. I'm not really sure how I feel about a bird calling me out when it comes to drinking, but thankfully, most of the drinks at the Pesky Parrot are covered in the Royal Caribbean beverage package. Overlooking the Royal Promenade is a cruise line signature schooner bar, mixing up everyone's favorite lavender daiquiri alongside live piano music. While this is usually one of our go-to bars, we did find ourselves spending more time at the Mason Jar for the live music and unique drinks there. Of course, you'll also find a signature drink menu at Boleros, an updated cocktail list at the Bell and Barley Pub, and the Oasis-class Rising Tide bar on Utopia of the Seas. Other entertainment spaces like the Attic, Spotlight Karaoke, the Music Hall, and Playmaker Sports Bar and Arcade all keep the drinks flowing as well. For a more relaxed vibe, guests can grab a glass of wine or a cocktail at the Trellis Bar in Central Park or Giovanni's Wine Bar in its new location. Those lounging on the pool deck can sip a cool, refreshing lime and coconut drink from one of the 3 outdoor locations: the View Bar located outside the solarium, or Cantina Fresca nearby El Loco Fresh. While not a new bar, the Wipeout Bar found aft on Deck 16 is home to a new offering, Shaved Ice. Before you even ask, these premium snacks are not included in the beverage packages. Cruisers can mix and match various flavors, starting at $6 for a non-alcoholic version or $14 for a spiked ice. But overall, compared to other cruise ships offering short cruises, the bars and lounges on Utopia of the Seas offers a variety of different venues and some of the best drinks at sea. Given this 3-day cruise included only embarkation day and 2 ports of call, many cruisers headed ashore during the day. Still, there were plenty of activities and staff-led events for those who chose to stay on board. The lineup included trivia sessions, game shows, and challenges, karaoke sets, dance classes, scavenger hunts, and more. Cruise staples like Name That Tune and Majority Rules did occur, but there was no love and marriage game show. One day of our cruise, Studio B was open for free skating. The cruise line provides all the equipment. Cruisers just need long pants and socks. Or families could go head-to-head in laser tag in Battle for Planet Z. This complimentary activity also occurred one day in Studio B. Further, the whole family can enjoy a ride on the carousel in the boardwalk neighborhood. Not to mention, kids and teens can enjoy all that Adventure Ocean and Social 100 have to offer. Adults can take advantage of the Vitality Spa or do a little gaming in the casino. The casino slots were open all day and tables opened at noon while docked in Perfect Day at Coco Cay. Of course, there's also pools and all the other amenities and activities on the outdoor decks of Utopia of the Seas. Utopia of the Seas pool deck and sports deck boasts a similar layout to Wonder of the Seas. There are 3 main pools on deck 15 and the Splashaway Bay play area for little kids. Across the way, on the starboard side, is the only theme pool, the beach pool. Here, cruisers can also enjoy the Perfect Storm trio of water slides. While fun, these attractions do not measure up to the thrills of Category 6 on the line's largest ship, Icon of the Seas. The 2 additional pools are found further aft and offer stadium-style seating. This gives the area more dimension than previous Oasis-class ships. Forward on deck 15 is the adults-only solarium. This solarium does feature a plunge pool and a few whirlpools, but cruisers will notice less seating area and fewer loungers on the lower part. The wings now consist of 2 new solarium suites, offering bridge-level views for up to 4 guests. Beyond the pool deck, the sports deck features even more activities to keep guests of all ages busy. Aft on deck 16, the Flow Rider lets cruisers boogie board or surf each day of the cruise. There were 3-throw competitions and pickleball games at the sports court. Not to mention, Utopia of the Seas regained the title of the longest dry slide at sea with the addition of the enhanced Ultimate Abyss. There's also a well-themed nautical Aqua Dunes mini golf course, a small zip line, and the playscape for little ones. Yes, if you've never sailed on an Oasis-class ship, it could feel very overwhelming trying to do and see it all in just 3 or 4 days. For this Utopia of the Seas cruise ship review, we opted for a guaranteed ocean view balcony. A few weeks before our cruise, we were assigned stateroom 11680. This Category 4D balcony is on the starboard side of the ship, slightly aft of the midship elevators. While we didn't select Deck 11, it was the ideal spot for us being only a few decks from the outdoor spaces. Not to mention, it's a quick walk down to the boardwalk, Central Park, or the Royal Promenade. According to Royal Caribbean's website, this cruise cabin was 191 square feet with a 50 square foot balcony. It felt pretty typical for a megaship balcony cabin in terms of size and decor. Immediately upon entering the room, a bathroom was to the right. Like the rest of the cabin, the bathroom had a familiar layout. There was a cylindrical shaped shower with a glass door and a small vanity area with a few shelves. Beyond the bathroom was a sofa on the aft wall, and the desk and dresser were across the way. Our bed was also on the aft wall facing forward, right before the balcony. For our 3-day cruise, there was plenty of storage, with 2 closets, each flanking the sofa. They consisted of a clothes bar with hangers, a series of shelves, and 2 drawers. There were also pegs for hanging items like bags and hats underneath the television. Overall, the stateroom was comfortable and functional, even if the decor was a tad basic. There was also ample power outlets for all our technology. The bedside lamps on each side of the bed had a power outlet and a USB-C. Just make sure to test your lamp before you set sail, because the lamps in our stateroom did not work. Additionally, the desk had 3 110-volt outlets, 2 220-volt outlets, 1 USB, and 1 USB-C connection. Honestly, we only stepped out on our balcony a few times for some photos and videos. While it was nice to have the dedicated and private outdoor space, there just wasn't enough time to relax there. When compared to other cruise ship balconies, it did feel a bit tight. So cruisers looking to soak up some sun will probably want to head to one of the public spaces at the top of the ship. We have sailed on all of the previous Oasis-class ships, and Utopia of the Seas delivers on many fronts. The ship offers a variety to do, see, and eat, especially for a 3 or 4 day quick getaway. It features all the Royal Caribbean and Oasis-class staples that loyal Royal cruisers have come to know and love. Although it might be overwhelming for some, especially if you're unfamiliar with this class of ship. If you're like Heidi and suffer from FOMO, you may feel there's not enough time to experience it all during a short cruise. But that's partially the point of Royal Caribbean's marketing as the world's biggest weekend. If you didn't get everything done on one trip, you can always book another one. Or book a back-to-back cruise, giving you a total of 7 days on board, but at a much higher price point than booking a typical 7-day cruise on other Oasis-class ships. While there is plenty to do, there was nothing that wowed us about Utopia of the Seas. Besides the Royal Railway, the ship offers little in innovative or unique attractions when compared to previous sister ships. But this upcharged dining experience is pricey and has limited capacity. Inevitably, price will factor into deciding whether a Utopia of the Seas cruise is the right option for your next family vacation. Our 3-day balcony cabin was a total of about $1,800, or $900 a person, which is just a little bit cheaper than a 7-night cruise on Carnival Jubilee. After watching this video, you're probably interested in booking a cruise. Now, Heidi and I are not travel agents. That's why we've partnered with MEI Travel. They are the official travel partner of Eat Sleep Cruise. If you need help planning a cruise, check the description down below. We have our exclusive link to MEI Travel's latest cruise deals and promotions, and you can request your free no obligation quote. And of course, if you need more help planning your next Royal Caribbean cruise, don't worry, you're in luck. Right here on YouTube, we have plenty of cruise tips and travel advice videos that will ensure you're one step ahead of everyone else. That way, your next cruise is smooth sailing.